quick video here on the lateral band walk. Sometimes people also call this a monster walk, but lateral band walk is probably the more accurate way. And I've done quick videos of this before, as far as just, quick, this is how you do it. This one's going to go over probably more progressions and common errors for those wanting to fine tune it, which is worth paying attention to because it's a really useful exercise. As far as bands go, the best thing to use for this is if you can get an actual loop instead of just tying one. I feel like they work better. And this one is made by Perform Better. I didn't get it for free or anything. These are just the best ones on the market going right now. And as far as like the length of it, it's 12 inches across. Don't get a smaller one, too small. Don't get a bigger one, it's going to go really slack like you're doing a huge lunge or something. But as far as progressions here, the easiest option is band around right above the knees. Okay. Now, as far as technique goes here, what's important is pretty much like if your knees are bent here, your kneecap should be pointing straight ahead. Okay, so you don't want the knees bowing way out to the side or pointing way in like that. Pretty much knees pointing straight ahead, and that'll be maintained the whole time you're walking. And some people's foot placement's gonna be a little bit different here. Okay, so with the knees slightly bent, just lift your toes up and down a few times like that, and you'll notice with the knees straight ahead, your feet will adopt their natural angle. Okay, for some of us like me, that's pretty much straight ahead. Some people are going to be toe out a little bit. The point is to maintain your own neutral position the whole time you're doing this exercise. Now, as far as what does the rest of your legs do here? So pretty much always want the knees bent, just a soft knee bend, okay? And from the side, what that looks like would be just enough to unlock them, okay? You don't want to do totally rigid legs with this. Oh, and as far as hips go, like probably someone that's a runner is probably going to keep the torso upright, knees slightly bent, moving like that. Cyclists, tend to be flexed over a little bit more at the trunk for their activity, so I'd get slight knee bend and then hinge forward at the hips some. You can do it either way, but it's just worth considering what's specific to your sport. Okay, so as far as, you don't want to start any of this with the legs totally close together. You don't want any slack in the band at any time. So a few inches apart is your starting point. And what you're trying to do is just slow, controlled steps. You don't try to make as big of steps as possible or anything like that. And one thing that I'll mention here is, as far as your hips go, your belt line should stay really close to totally level doing these. And what that means is you don't want to be doing this business with the hips twisting around everywhere. Also, upper body should be pretty quiet during this, so see, shoulders aren't leaning side to side. Really, you should look kind of weird and robotic doing these. So the next step would be band down around the socks. And this is probably my favorite way to start with a lot of people. So slight knee bend. I'll just do your steps. Now, as far as how many do you do, typically what I'll have people do is 10 steps one way, 10 back, and really just tell them to go till the outer hips are getting tired. And really, the muscle you're trying to get here will be right where this corner of your back pocket would be, gluteus medius muscle. That's what we're working on. And so when you feel like you're ready to move past the first two, the band on the knees and band on the socks, you go down to band around the forefoot. I try not to get it like necessarily around the toes, but the band should be right behind all of your toe knuckles. And same thing applies here, okay? The knee bend, slow controlled steps. This one's a good bit harder. And as far as the colors of these bands, this really depends on the manufacturer. Probably what's worth doing is just try to get a hold of a few different colors and pick the one where you can do a few sets with moderate difficulty. And that covers pretty much everything there, our lateral band walk.